Hey guys, Sensei Andy here from Kando Martial Arts, Knox, and welcome to this second video in our defensive ground position series. So what we're going to be looking at today is how do we stand up from on the ground. So my opponent's standing, I'm on the ground, how do I stand back up so I've got back on that even playing field. Last week we looked at our basics of our defensive ground position, so let's look at that again quickly. Let's recap. I'm up on my elbow, I'm not down on my shoulder, I'm not flat on my back. So I want to be on my side, up on my elbow with my three lines of defense. My kicking foot, keep my bad guy away, my hand up to block in case they get past my legs, and the ability to move my head in for that third level of defense as well. From here, we're going to look at how do we stand up. So the first thing I need to do is come to like a little sitting up point, a little halfway point. I'm going to come push up off my hand and plant my foot on the floor. So now I've got my hand planted, I've got my foot planted. I've still got my guard up. I'm going to lift my hips off the ground, come out to my foot, and then I can stand up and get away, okay? Now, that's the basic overview. Let's talk about the three little rules we have when standing up off the ground in base. So, number one, we don't put two hands on the ground. If I'm in my defensive ground position here, and I start to put two hands on the ground to try and stand up, then I've just taken away my lines of defense. I've got nothing defending, nothing able to block it, and they've got a free shot at my head. Okay, so that's really bad, of course. So I don't want to put my foot down, which takes away one line. I don't want to put my hand down, which takes away all my defense. Give them a free shot. Okay, so number one, don't put two hands on the ground. Number two, don't turn your back. For a similar reason, we're giving them a free shot. If I'm in my defensive ground position and I start to turn away, now I don't know where they are, and they've, again, got a free shot. The shot that's going to hurt you the most is the one you don't see coming. And if you take your eyes off them, you're not going to see any shots coming, okay? So rule number two, don't turn your back. And rule number three, we need to make our distance, okay? So make sure we're moving back, we're making our distance, we're not going to stand up face to face. Because if I'm here, and let's say my opponent is kind of standing right at my feet here, if I just stand up straight, then all of a sudden we're face to face. And what are they going to do? They're going to punch me straight away. That's not very good self-defense. So rule number three is we need to get away and make distance, okay? So let's look at our steps in a little bit more detail of how we stand up, keeping those three rules in mind. We're going to be in our defensive ground position. I come up to a halfway point, and you'll notice my bottom leg is behind my front leg. Okay, that's going to make it easy for the next step. I've still got my hand up. Now at any time here, if they start to close the distance on me again, I can always just retreat and come back to this position, bring my feet involved again. But I'm going to come up to this halfway point where I'm sitting up. I'm planted on my hand, I'm planted on my foot. I'm going to lift my hips up off the ground. I'm going to bring my bottom leg out beside my hand. So my foot is going to plant beside my hand. And really important here, my chest is facing towards the ground. If I try and stand up without bringing my chest towards the ground, and I'm trying to stand up this way, not only is it going to be really hard for you to actually stand up from there, but also it puts you really off balance. Whereas when I'm in this position and I bring my hips up and I bring my foot next to my hand, now I do actually have a lot of balance. I can then bring both hands up, step back, make my distance, and get away safely, okay? What we're going to look at in the next video is another method to try and stand up from our defensive stand-up. Now, obviously with that one, from going all the way from my hand all the way to my foot, it does take an element of athleticism. Not a huge amount, but there's definitely an element there. So what we're going to look at next week is a simpler way, but a slower way to stand up from the ground. I look forward to seeing you then.